No. Yeah, I did it.
Howdy, howdy. It's time for Jason's Thoughts, episode 87. I've got my good friend Bryce back with us again. So happy to have you. Good to see you, my friend.
Thanks, man. Good to be here. I've got one of my close business associates with me off stage. He can't be seen, but he can be heard if he wishes to be.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
For now, we just have a live audience. That's how big we're getting.
Man, all the pressure is on
Start
you
tickets.
Right now. Let me start by saying the Mo is looking beautiful, my friend. Good job there. Yeah, it's almost the end of Movember, but we're not here to talk about Movember. We're here to talk about positivity. A lot around positivity. If it's like a hype word, desired state of mind and life, is it mindset? Those kind of things. So excited to unpack this one for you because there's a lot to it. I think there is the pros of being as positive you can, and I think there's also some pitfalls. And so let's get the convo started, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, what are your thoughts? Like, let's maybe start on the pros and the goods and what your thoughts are around positivity in your life.
For sure. Well, I mean, like I'm like everybody else. It's like positivity is not always with me. It's like the force. You're trying to get it sometimes, and it's hard to reach. I'm negative just like everybody else is, and I have to constantly work at being positive. And I've for sure noticed a big impact in my life and my life quality and my relationships with the people around me since making that, time and setting that strength, that mind strength and capability of swapping my thoughts from negative to positive, because it is proven that negative thoughts are the easier thoughts to have, and it's easier to be negative and lazy than it is to get up and get shit done. So I think it is definitely a way of life and a mindset. But even when you're in the middle of it and doing great, you can get wiped on your ass, crash, and then boom, you're back to negative town. So it's like one of those things. Is a journey. You get up, wipe yourself off. You're gonna smack down a bunch of times, but the reality is once, and depending on how bad things are in your life, once it kind of comes back down and enough time has passed from what you've gone through, you can start reinstilling those positive attributes back into your life. Because let's be honest, some things suck in life, right? And it is all about how you look at it. So it's just super, super important. Myth by no man, but if you believe it's a myth, then you're right. It's gonna be a myth to your life, that's for sure.
Let's talk about you bring up something that's I think probably a good conversation to unpack too, is like negativity, right? Where that can come from within, but I also am a firm believer that the world we kind of live in can also have a lot of negative connotations, whether it's actually impacting your life or not. A lot of it can be absorbed, right? I think about, obviously phones and social and all social media and stuff like that. When you think about like the news, right? If you're constantly in the news, I'm pretty bad at being in the news, I must admit. So I'm like, reading headlines and what is it? Well, it's negative. So
I know,
you think about how you start your day, and for me, I'm like having a coffee and I'm
first thing in the morning,
the news. And what does that do? It creates negativity into my world, and I haven't even got up to get to work yet.
Right? I know. Well, I think the thing about that's like a whole nother episode, talking about just the way that we live our lives, and we wake up and we start feeding this like this phone, right? Like, and like we don't control what we see on that phone and what we Google, on that phone. And you're right, like, and your phone picks it up quick. You start researching something, and then all of a sudden more of that will come up, right? Like I'm on news, like I'd like to say not at all, essentially. Like it's a balance between, you need to kind of know what's going on in the world, but at the same time, it'll suck you in. It's a black hole. I went through it in COVID as part of my, like past few years of hard times of anxiety of just how much media was out there about it. It killed me. Like now I'm to the point though, where it's like, there was a massive fire in Victoria a couple of days ago from a windstorm that we had here. I don't know what happened, but anyways, the whole Quadra Street was up in flames. I didn't even know about it. Until like
that's
today.
a good so that you're probably right, that could be an episode on itself, but I think it is a good precursor to talking about positivity.
What
looking at your
I think
daily
the media
habits.
The media is like, it's so bad, right? Like and just so like you have to really be careful what you ingest. Like if you are what you eat, you are what you think about, like more so than anything else at all, right? Like it's immediate. As soon as you start thinking about something, then that's kind of the way that it is, right? Also negative people, like I know it's been said a million times, this isn't from me, but this is something I live by. I just cut them out of your life. It doesn't matter who it is. And you know what, you guys might say, oh yeah, it's easier said than done. My mom has no relationship with me, and I'm not cold-hearted, but she's a drug addict, right? So she's a negative energy sucking person that I can't help, unfortunately. And it's been like that for a long time, and I can't be around it. You know what I mean?
No, so agreed.
I don't say this like, without experience, like, so
you do your best, and then but
really what it is, it's you can't help negative people. You can't help people that are doing bad things in life. That all comes within. So, like you gotta know that too, right? And just keep them out of your life. Because that's the first way to negativity.
So,
and you know what the perfect analogy is? I don't want to cut you off. It's like if you put a rotten apple beside a bunch of fresh apples, what happens? The fresh apples start to rot, right? Like,
so. It's like a cancer, right? So we dabble a little bit on negativity, and I think there is probably some best practices there. But let's talk about positivity, because that's what we're going to talk about today.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're really here. Like, so talk to me about positivity. Like, what's the impacts of being a positive individual for you? Tell me the goods.
I think that like positivity, again, it's immediate impactfulness, right? Where it's like, if you get out of bed, you stub your toe, and then you're like, fuck, this is a shitty day. And then what happens? And then what happens? You spill your coffee on your white dress shirt, and you're on your way to work, and then and it just keeps going. It's your mindset. It's that like negative, like this is what it is, and I have now given up the other 23 hours of my life because I stubbed my toe in the morning, right? And that it all starts, like you said, very like first thing in the morning, but also it can shift very easily. It's just hard. Right? Like you can start feeling yourself being negative, and you can switch it immediately. So like, as far as how it's impacted my life is that I've gotten all the things I ever wanted. So, I mean, I think that's, like it doesn't happen like right away. It doesn't happen with little work. It happens with a lot of work and a lot of dedication, but I've done everything I've wanted to do. So I mean, I've gone everywhere I've wanted to do, and I'm doing the things I want to do, and I'm working towards them. So it's just like, it has fully impacted my life. And the times that I've been negative, it feels like, the world, by contrast, the world feels like it's crashing in and nothing's going to work.
Right. So I think that talks about that mindset, right? Like, you gave an example of like you might get up, and first thing is gratitude that you even woke up. So there should be your positivity starter for the day, right? But then you hit negative, like stubbing your toe. That's physically impactful. So and I swear you must have been sitting beside me when I was drinking my coffee this weekend. I put on a white shirt. Sure enough, what happens? I spill my freaking coffee on my white shirt, like my one white shirt. But so it's like negative.
Yes.
And then, you miss the bus, or you're late for work, negative.
All
so no matter how positive you feel to start your day, a lot of the times the negatives can derail you daily, right? So I think that's where you talk about mindset.
And I think to touch on that quickly, is there's two types of days. How did the rest of your day go? Like after that, were you pissed off?
No, I just went and put my shirt in the laundry and
exactly.
I was good again. Right?
So like, again, you were under the right mindset, because
Yeah.
you could have a day where it's like physical, like stopping
Yes.
you from being fucking positive. And then all
Yep.
of a sudden you still feel good. You're like, oh, this is annoying. This is annoying. Like, oh, whatever. You laugh it off. And then there are other days
Yes.
where this is so fucking annoying and I hate life. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and then there's a middle ground to it. So I guess it just depends on, again, it's all about how you look at it at
Right.
the end of the day. But you have to know yourself enough to like, hey, like, why am I in a bad mood right now? Why am I feeling elevated of anger and negative? And then you think, oh wait, I did this, I did that. Okay, well, I can change that now by thinking about positive things, right? It's all about focusing on what you want and then not thinking about the negative.
Yeah, I think dwelling on the negative, especially when it's in past tense,
Yes.
like things like a sub toe, well,
Yeah.
eventually your toe feels a little better.
You
The
forget about it.
coffee on the shirt, yeah, maybe the stain doesn't come out. Big
It's another
deal,
physical thing. But the guy
you
riding your ass behind you, honking at you and giving you a heart attack, yeah, that can impact your whole day. Some
yeah,
of it,
it
like
can.
the toe, like you said, it's very like it'll come and go, right?
Yeah,
But it's how it started the day, and then it
yeah,
just keeps snowballing. It's a snowball effect, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So just constantly staying positive, and I think that one of the ways that you can, right, say, this is how I start my day. I wake up, I have some tea, I get ready, I don't look at my phone for a few hours, and when I do look at my phone, I stay off of the news
Social.
sites for sure. I just do
Yeah,
my work stuff, right? And then when I'm
yeah.
driving to work every day, I won't go through everything I do, but when I'm driving to work every day, I out loud say everything I'm grateful for. And it's almost impossible
Mm,
to be
mm-hmm.
negative when you
Yeah,
literally out loud to yourself say what you're happy and grateful for. And it's the
right.
simple things. And then when you're doing it, oh, I'm grateful I woke up today. I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm alive. I'm grateful that my wife and my kids woke up today happy, healthy, and alive. I could do the whole thing because I do it every day and I do it a lot.
Nice,
So,
nice.
and then you get down to, I'm grateful that I live in Victoria, British Columbia, where it's safe and my
Mm-hmm.
family's safe. Like I'm grateful that when I'm cold, I can flip a switch. And all of those things. And then you start realizing, holy shit, we have it pretty goddamn good. I'm bored, I turn on a TV. I don't want to go to the movie theater, I go on Netflix. Like, we have it easier than anybody has ever had it, easier than any king or queen has ever had it.
Yes.
And we're still dissatisfied. So if you can't
Mm,
like do the groundwork of knowing how great we have it, well, you're probably never going to be a positive person, because that's where it
yeah.
starts. That's what will get you through all the stub toes, the jerks, the things you can't control, right?
Yeah. 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 I think it's a really good point. There's a lot of good points in there, right? And I think, there is also, and maybe it comes back to some of the roots of negativity, right? It's like, and when you get to your phone again, it's like, well, the device is feeding you, right? It's feeding the
Oh yeah,
monster to,
totally.
negative thoughts generate reaction, and some of that
Well, and we
reaction
live into the
is,
world today too,
yeah,
is that what you're talking about, your device is listening to you. Right?
yeah,
So like, it's going to show you things that you like, that it thinks that you want to see while you're talking. And if you're in a mindset of negativity, what do you think you're going to see?
yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah,
then it becomes a third party thing where you're getting hit by all types of angles and you're
yes,
really having to put up a fight. And then that
yeah.
foundation is the only thing to keep you sane,
You gotta keep at least
right?
treading water, right? Like,
Because like,
stay
are we
flat.
designed to wake up every day, go to work, be fucking miserable, and all we have to look forward to is smoking a joint, drinking a beer, right? Like, other than our families, right?
Uh,
Like, because so
yeah,
many people live like that. So many people just
yeah, it's
complain about
true.
all the bad shit.
Yeah, and so when you think about that, if you're treading water, just getting out of bed because you're in that
Yeah,
negative mindset, and then the additional life things that impact you, now you're drowning, right? So,
right. Totally.
um, so I think some of the things you mentioned, as far as keeping treading or raising above water from you, was positive affirmations. I think that's a
Totally.
really, really good thing. And not just like in the minds. I love how you
You
said you do it
say
while
it out
you're
loud.
driving
Yeah.
to work, is because, like, when you vocalize something, you're controlling it. Whereas I think when you
Yeah.
think about it in your mind, it like all of a sudden it flips to, oh, I got to pick up
Well,
eggs and
totally.
I got to pick up
And you're
milk.
also hearing it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're like
Yeah,
James said, you're creating it.
yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So that's a thing. Gratitude always will help with the negative, right? Anything, like I
Yeah,
said, like, well, you stubbed your toe. Well, the fact that I woke up today, I should be grateful that I'm
yeah,
alive, right? My heart
totally.
decided to
And
keep
that the
going.
people I love are alive, because
Yeah.
really, like, at some point in our lives, we're going to have a day where we can't say that anymore, and it's going to
Hmm.
be sad. So just remember, because what you don't want to have, because I've had some real struggles in my relationships because
Yeah.
my mom and my stepdad's, like, I'd had cops at my house and all, a little bit off segue, but like, I didn't know how to be in a relationship. So I've struggled really hard, and I go to counseling for it and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Wait, where was I? What were we talking about just before that?
Just gratitude, getting through the day.
Gratitude.
Yeah.
What's that?
Getting through the day.
Getting through the day. I totally lost my point, and it was so good too.
Oh man,
I'll have to come back
Bryce.
to it. Let's just
Okay.
continue. Let's just
Okay.
continue going through.
Well, the other thing I was gonna say too is you had mentioned laughing it off, right? So,
Mhm.
I think laughter, number one, is infectious,
Yeah.
but it's
Oh, totally.
actually like in the most stressful, darkest times I've ever had in my life,
Yeah.
I often found laughing and joking, even as long as in good taste, in
Yeah.
those moments helped bring me back into
Totally.
positivity, even because it's, life isn't always freaking roses and
No way, man.
all goodness, right? But you
Totally.
got to get back out of it, right? And so
You
I
have to.
find that laughter is also a
Well,
good
that's just like, that's
cure.
like human nature, right? Like, if you talk to any paramedic, doctor, or cop that's
Mm,
going through some serious stuff and serious situations, often they will laugh at it, and it
yeah,
might look
yeah,
weird to the officer, but that's how you deal with it. That's how you not completely shut down. You know,
yeah, 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 yeah.
totally, man.
So positivity, like you've known me a really, really long time. I'm pretty
Yeah.
optimistic, and with
Yes.
optimism often comes positivity. And I would say too, for yourself as well, like when we hang out, I mean, we all have our dark times and our negative times, but when we hang out, we're
Yeah.
having a good time, we're laughing, and you're a guy that's very positive, and that's why I keep you in my life too. But what do you think are the pitfalls or the roadblocks or um, the dangers of trying to live in a positive mindset?
I think that there's obviously, like with everything great, there's something negative, right?
Mm,
Um, the first pitfall that comes to my mind is like when you're trying to create it, and it feels
mm,
so foreign to you, and you can't
yeah,
fathom, like, I want to be positive, but all these negative things happen in my life. Like, how do I do it? Where do I start? What do I do? And when I find myself being negative for a week or a month, like,
mm,
how do I shake that? Right. Like,
right. Yeah, yeah,
and there's so many pieces to it, right? Like, there's so many pieces to it. But
yeah.
that's the hard part. And like, you got to do some soul searching, really. Like, you really
Hmm.
got to do some soul searching to find out, what you are grateful for, right? And like
Yeah,
things like that. And you got to really focus on that. And that's very hard to do in a negative mindset. So it's like a double
yeah,
negative, right? So I think
yeah,
that if you're in a negative mindset, one, you're not even watching this video because you're thinking, oh, negativity is a myth. Like, like it should be on
yeah,
that TV show, right? It's a myth, right? So
yeah,
you can't even realize it. You have to be almost optimistic to a certain degree to get the concept of it. So I think
yeah.
that's hard too, is that the people who need it the most probably won't listen to this or
Mm,
believe in it. You know what I mean?
yep,
We're probably talking to the people who are trying to do it mostly and is
yeah,
doing it, but probably is failing. And it just comes down to like putting the work in and
yeah,
just making that time for saying the things that you're grateful out loud or writing them down and being totally connected to that, you know?
yeah, yeah,
And then if we want to jump into tips, because that is a tip, another
yeah,
tip is, and this isn't from me, every time you start thinking about the negative
yeah.
factor or something that you don't want in your life, or something bad's happened, you need to immediately say out loud what you want.
Mm,
So like if you're in a
okay.
situation where you're dealing with somebody,
Yeah,
and you tell yourself, I don't want to deal with them. I don't want to deal with them. The universe doesn't hear I don't. It just hears I want them. I want them. I want them. You're now attracting them into your life kind of scenario, right? So you need to focus differently. Or, like, I don't want to drink anymore. I've said that a bunch of times. And all that does make me want to have a drink. So it's like, you got to be careful with what you think. So you just got to think about, what do you want? And if you're always thinking about what you want and not what you don't have, that is the power of positivity right there. You have now just flipped the switch. So it's like, for me,
like you say, you don't want to drink. How about I'm not drinking?
Yeah.
Right?
Or like, I want to be sober. And anything sort of a positive, I've had that, like, I know that one because I think about it all the time, right? Or it's like, like, are you stressed about money? Are you a commission salesperson? Are you a small business owner? And you're thinking, oh, I'm stressed about money. I'm stressed about money. Well, you got to start changing your mindset and think, I want money. I want to be wealthy. I want to be financially comfortable, whatever that is for you, and want that, and go out and search it. And it's like, the universe will provide always. Always will provide. It's like talking about that thing. It's like, oh yeah, I saw this, or hey, do you remember Jason so-and-so? And then the next week you just bump into him. You know what I mean? Like, so things like that. Those are the tips and the tricks. That's what's going to get you there. It starts off very small. Change one negative thought and change that to one thing that you want, and you'll feel better. Because if you that's where the frustration lies, is just not knowing how to do it. But there's some pointers right there, and they're not from me, but they are things that I practice personally. And it's changed a little bit.
I think just changing in words does change mindset as kind of the little steps. I also think that
changing the narrative in your mind.
And I think negativity, it loves friends. And sorrow loves friends, and all those things, where positivity generates action, right? So when you think about, like you said, your commission sales, and let's say you're halfway through the month and you're not halfway to your quota, you're literally eating ramen and craft dinner every night, both pretty enjoyable still. But when you sit in negativity, you're looking at, oh well, the marketing campaign sucks. There isn't much traffic.
I'm not getting the good customer.
I'm not getting the good customers. These guys are tire kickers. Whereas positivity gives you action. You're like, okay, you know what? I've still got 15 days left to the month to hit my quota. I still have 8 hours today in my shift to make
where have I gone wrong, and how can I fix it? Right?
Like, this next customer that comes in, it's okay. Reality is it's quiet, but there's a customer that just walked in. I actually now have the time to go above and beyond with this one customer to make sure I lock down that sale. Positivity.
You know why? Because you want the money, right? Or you want the sale, or you want to help somebody, or whatever it is. The driving force for me was always money. But so, and it's just so important to do that, really.
I agree. So I think these are kind of like all kind of tips and tricks, right? That
I think another part too. What's that? Sorry, what were you gonna say? Tips and tricks?
I just think everybody's a little bit different, right? And so maybe there's small little nuggets in here that you can try out and change into shifting that positivity
for you.
One step at a time.
One step at a time. One thought at a time.
Baby time.
One thought at a time, really, right? Like, and the mind, we have to remember how powerful, like, anybody, says like, is positivity, it's just, baloney or whatever. And there's a middle ground, sometimes, there's just life, there's a middle ground there somewhere, but like, like you said, it's different for everybody. But if you can think of it at one thought at a time, because the mind is so powerful, if you just and you ever need to remember how powerful our minds are, look outside and realize everything you see, touch, and other than the trees and the grass and that stuff is human created chemicals, like pills, like everything. Like that magic shot you can take in the neck, Ozempic or whatever, and you get skinny. Like, that's all created by someone's thought, right? Like, someone figured out how to make people skinny without diets from a thought. And Elon Musk created his businesses from his thoughts and his determination and his positivity, right? So it's like, if we ever forget about that, like, we have to look around, look up at the Donald Trump Tower, for instance.
Yeah. I think there is something to that too. Like, you can have optimism, and you can have you can have you can have that thought, but remember that positivity will get you through all the negativity, because they're going to go through it. Like Ozempic, there was probably 5,000 failures before there was one step.
Oh yeah, like any business
forward in progress. And Elon Musk failed probably a million times more than he's achieved.
You're going to fail a million times.
Yeah, the positivity, something kept him going, right? Negativity and failure comes naturally, but to pick yourself back up and go, no,
that's hard.
Okay, that was one more step forward. We failed, but now I've got more data, and I can get further.
Well, that's
right?
it. That's it. Because you don't learn how to walk by just walking; you learn by falling. So, and anybody that doesn't understand that, like, you're just going to have a hard time in general, I think.
You know, one thing I wanted to share with, like I was saying, I'm a pretty optimistic, pretty positive individual. At least outwards, I portray that quite a bit.
Of course. Of course.
And I think one of the things I wanted to share with where this can also be a pitfall, and the key to avoid that pitfall. You know, I was leading a big team during COVID, right? And you know, and anybody that's gone through that in one shape or another knew it was a pretty dark time. But I was overly positive, like, oh, well, you know, we're only going to be shut down for a week. We're only going to be shut down.
Jason didn't read the room.
No, but this is just who I am, right? It's like, I've never been through COVID before, and so it was like, oh yeah, we're going to be all good. Everything's good. We'll be good. We'll hit our sales targets. We'll get this done. We'll get that done. And you're right. I realized that my overly positive vibe was actually unhealthy. It was hurting people because, like, I wasn't aware. It wasn't like I wasn't taking things seriously, but I was just, sometimes you can push people and help people by positivity. You can bring them up, but sometimes that extra positivity
pushes them down,
lacks reality. Well, and then it actually creates negativity, because they're like, this guy's out to lunch. Like, he isn't seeing this impact. I'm worried about my grandmother dying and this person dying, right? So you can actually have, you can have a negative impact on people even when you're trying to be positive, right?
I think that you, like, as being somebody who likes to bring people up, like I do, like, and it doesn't matter who it is, whether they're involved in my business or their friend or whoever, what it is. I like to improve the lives of people because I've been there myself. So anybody who's like trying to get after it, I'm always there for people. But like, the reality though, it's just like this, and I'm just never afraid to be like, this sucks. This is gonna suck. There's no way about this that's gonna be easy. It's gonna be hard, and we're gonna make it through. And we don't know what that's gonna look like, but you know what I mean? Like, so it just depends on, but COVID was one of those things, is I literally, as a leader as well, somebody in our team, one of my salespeople, had COVID, and then I freaked out, and then freaked out the whole building. So I mean, like, and I was the leader of I was the captain of the ship, and and that's how the negativity can wreck the ship. Luckily, I had better leaders than I at the time to say, like, hey, you can't do that, you got to fix it. So I did. But what a lesson. And it sounds like you had a similar lesson. Just, man, like, COVID messed so many things up and nobody was ready for it, and that was the start of a lot of negativity in this world.
It's true. So what do you think about with positivity? What are the tall tale signs that you're in the right space physically and mentally, like for your physical health and your mental health? How do you know? I think, honestly, what are some signs like that? Man, like, deep down,
right? And maybe you don't want to know. Maybe you're like me, making 200 grand a year in a cushion job, driving $100,000 cars around, having like what seemed to be the perfect life that I just had to go in there and say, blow up. Because among all those perfect sounding things of owning a home on one of the most expensive places and having all the good things, I was not happy because I was not in the wrong place. So there was signs. The signs were I was drinking way too much. The signs were I was tired all the time. And even when I got up at 5 a.m. and worked out, like it didn't matter exactly what I did, what I cut out, what I didn't do. It's still just something was missing, right? And so I just kept making moves and jumps, and then you get that click aha moment. And even in that, it's still hard. It still sucks. I don't love every day. But you know that you're in the right place and you believe in what you're doing. And that's how you know.
Yeah. Well, they say that money is the root of all evil, right? So, just because...
I don't believe that for a second.
I do.
I know you do. We will never agree on that. Because what? Money to me is going to make me more of who I am. And I am the type of person who's going to help people. And if you've got an asshole there who is just an asshole and he gets a lot of money, then he's going to be an asshole with money. It just allows you to do more of what you and who you really are is the way I look at money. It doesn't mean I'm going to get a bunch of money and then come murder you. And I don't mean you because we're friends, because that would be really bad.
You can hire someone though with money to kill me,
you can, but you know what? The way that I look at money, I want a lot of it, Jason. I want to have so much money that I just don't have to worry about. But I also want to bring up a bunch of employees with me and give them opportunities that I never had and work with them and take them under my wing and make sure that they have a nice house and a nice, so my mission is big like that. But and I think that someone who can do that for the community deserves to have a lot of money.
Hey, no, nothing against hard work and it deserves
to pay off.
No, the money you seek is evil. But you know what? If it's me, if I wake up this morning or if I wake up tomorrow morning, life's good, right? Because
that's all that matters. And anything icing,
the money,
totally
money. Possessions, you can't take them with you. The one thing I would say is that the money is good for is experiencing this great thing called life, right? The more money you got, potentially the more trips to Dubai and
the more positive you might feel, but then there's still negative.
It depends if that brings you
joy.
Helps
to a degree.
Experiences bring you joy. It probably would relieve some stresses. Yeah, it helps to a degree. Yeah, that's.
And then it's just, but here it can also hurt to a degree. I know this is another topic, but it's just like if you don't know how to manage money when you've got a little bit of money, when you've got a lot of bit of money, like lottery winners, money's a fucking terrible thing, and you're gonna wreck your life.
Yeah, most of them go bankrupt. I heard actually,
or in jail
because
suicide. It's like whole thing.
Like
Yeah. Money's not your problem. How you manage your money is your problem. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Unless you're running a business, then money's just your problem in the beginning forever anyway.
That's true. So positivity, does it coexist with realism? That's my last question for you around positivity.
It absolutely does, because you got to have a bit of both, right? Because it's just, you can't be all like you during COVID. Right? Bombs are coming and you're like, we're going to make our targets. You guys don't have to worry about it.
It's all good.
There's
all
obviously, you know what I mean? So it's like, there is a tad of realism, right? For instance, my grandma lost her kid, my dad, when I was a kid, right? So no amount of positivity is going to help you in that scenario, because guess what? There's just nothing positive really that comes with it. Can you make something positive out of it? 100%.
Good.
And you know what? The best thing that ever comes to mind about something so negative that's unspeakable is mothers against drunk driving. How an unimaginable thing in your life as a parent, as a mother, losing kids to create such a massive movement that goes, through the continent, right? You can make positive things out of really bad things like that, but no, certain things just suck and it's going to take time, but you just have to life goes on no matter what. We know what we're here for. We know what we're up against. When life smacks you in the face, it hurts way more than you can remember. And it's just day by day. But the reality is the sun's going to rise today or tomorrow, and it's going to come down tomorrow night, right? So just every single day, take it day by day. I think it can coexist, and it does very well. But you just don't want to be on the either of the extremes, right? Like, you got to be positive, you got to be real. Right?
Yeah. That's a good way to put it visually, is like, you don't want to be out in wackadoo land way too far off and lose your sense of reality, because then you're just a crazy laughing fool and you're floating. Whereas if you can take a little bit of the realism but stay in the positive realm, can be
just be in the positive lane. Always be in the positive lane. Sometimes you're going to be walking on the sidewalk or laying down, and then other times you're going to be on the fast lane, where you're not supposed to be, where the buses are passing everybody.
HOVs, man. HOVs, don't mess around with them. Good.
Yeah.
So what, in closing, what is like your key message around positivity for the two viewers that we'll probably have?
I think that, like, for those two viewers and the in-person viewer, which I didn't know we were doing since COVID, by the way. No, it's kidding.
Yeah.
No, I think that positive is like having a positive mindset is the most important thing, because you are what you're thinking about. The way that you interact is going to create who interacts with you. If you have a really good mindset, and you care about people, and you want to do good things, you want to be around people doing big things, you're going to create that circle for yourself. Anything you really put your mind to, you do. I'm not going to be, like we said before we started talking about this, I'm not tomorrow going to go be an NFL player, right? No amount of positivity is going to get me there, but the positivity that I have I want to live till I'm 95, and I want to have the largest and most profitable liquidation company in Canada. I'm positively thinking about that every single day, even on the hard days and hard months. That's where I'm going, and I'll get there because of my positive thinking. I will keep pushing through, and having the right at the times, having the right conversations in my mind and out loud with myself, You got to know yourself. You got to know yourself. You got to know yourself to be positive, truly positive.
Awesome. Well, Bryce, I definitely think you're a very positive individual. You're a positive individual in my life. So I know these aren't just words. These are actions that you take each and every day for your life and impacting others. And I appreciate the conversation. Yeah, well, I hope so. No, it's good, and I hope that someone does take something from this. That it's
one
easy
person
to get from
it. It could be my audience.
Yeah, man. I'm not oftentimes a negative fella. I've had some unfortunate things happen in my life, and it's nice to hear that someone else has done it, and you're getting some tips. And
I think just not feeling alone, because when you feel like that, it feels like it, and you can know it now, but then when you're in that mindset, you just feel alone. You feel like you're the only one going through it, or a burden, but you're not.
You don't want to talk about
totally. But talk about it. Let's really talk about it. Let's just talk about it open and freely, and that's part of getting to the positivity. Let it all out. Take the weight off your shoulders. You're not alone. Fucking life can suck, but honestly, I love life, and I want to be here as long as possible. But I do understand
strength in numbers too.
What's that?
Yeah,
strength in numbers, 100%. That's
tribes,
totally
togetherness. Right?
Yes,
community.
Community.
Yeah.
When you're sick and you can't take care of your kid 100%, you need someone else to help. And
true.
You need people close by.
Yeah, so true.
Awesome.
All right, buddy.
Well, I appreciate the conversation as always, and I'm feeling pretty positive from it. So
I'm feeling really positive. I'm also feeling positive that people are going to laugh at me for losing my thought in a deep, deep moment. And I'm going to rewatch it, and it's going to hurt.
You come back to me with that thought, and then we'll
put it in the comments.
There we go.
Okay,
right,
buddy.
Good to chat with you. Thanks for everything. Until next time.
Adios.